Fishful Thinker Television, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse, America's premier outfitter. Coldwell Banker, every day until it's sold. St. Croix Rod, the best rods on earth. Evinrude, spend more time on the water. Hello and welcome to Fishful Thinker Television. We appreciate you joining us. I'm the show's host, Chad LaChance, and we've got a really unique show lined up for you today. If you're a fan of the show, we appreciate it, and you'll know right away that this is not the normal background for Fishful Thinker. Today's show is going to be all about the Full Moon Open Bass Tournament. It's the oldest and largest bass tournament in the state of Colorado, and one of the tournament's founders joining me right here, Mr. Bill Wilson.
Hi, Chad. How are you?
Doing
Hi, fans.
Great. Good evening, Bill. Now, this tournament's unique because it's 12 hours long, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Bill, why'd you come up with such a crazy hours like that?
We were in searching for a fundraiser for our club. We decided that we wanted to do something a little bit different, out of the ordinary, and we came up with a good one, we think. It's an all-night bass fishing tournament with some side pots for walleye and things like that, but the bass tournament is going to be a lot of fun tonight.
Absolutely. The best part about this tournament, it's for some great charities. Why don't you give us a quick rundown on some of the charities that the proceeds from this tournament will go towards?
Every year we help out all three of the local food banks. We also help out with ALS, and we also have done in the past helped out with the American Cancer Society, and also with the Larimer County Search and Rescue.
Does it get any better than that? A whole night of fishing with all your friends with the proceeds going to a good cause.
That's the best, and we also help out with some youth and habitat projects also with this money. It's
great stuff. It's a great tournament. As keeping with all Fishful Thinker shows, we're going to try to focus on the education side. How do the anglers deal with 12 hours in a boat, 5 hours in the daylight, 7 of them in the dark? This is going to be a neat show. Thanks, Bill, for letting us film it.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks, everybody.
Like I said, if you're a fan of Fishful Thinker, you know this is a unique event for us. And because it's unique and we're trying to cover 50 boats spread out over 2,000 acres of lake, 6.5 miles long here at Horsetooth Reservoir, we've done things a little bit differently. Our normal Fishful Thinker camera guy, Mr. Timothy Farnsworth, is going to be mic'd up today, and he's going to be running around interviewing people just like I am. So you're going to see a new face on the show. Tim Farnsworth's going to have fun being both in front of and behind the camera. Checking live wells.
Lights on, live wells running.
Perfect. All right, guys, have fun out there. You guys, who's Nick? You guys Nick? Jeff? Oh, yeah, I know you. Oh, another CSU crew right here. And that will sum up the contestants of this year's 11th annual Full Moon Open Bass Tournament. We will see you guys bright and early.
There's a couple of guys about ready to start fishing. A couple minutes before the gun blast to start them. It's called an ooze start, where everybody gets to their spot, and then at a certain time they'll start fishing. Everybody goes on the honor system.
All right, it's officially 7 o'clock. It's legal time for the contestants to start fishing here on the 11th annual Full Moon Open. We're alongside Jeff Colwell, who's a guide here in northern Colorado. We're gonna see how he gets started. He's just made his first cast. We'll see how this goes now. Jeff's a guide, and he's got front range guide service. He guides for waterfowl, he guides for turkey, he guides for bass. I've fished with him in several states. Gentlemen can absolutely put him in the boat. What's your plan, Jeff? You got a plan for this evening, or you're gonna wing it?
Well, we had a plan, but it's a little more crowded than we liked.
That seems
I'm not gonna lie to you, we were hoping to get a little more than 100 yards. But you know, we'll prevail. We'll figure it out and go from there.
I believe that is the first catch that we have observed of the Full Moon Open so far. And that's Mr. Brandon White, and it does not look like it's going to keep, but we're going to go over here and find out what they're doing right off the bat. Here we've got Brandon White and Bryan Johnson. These two guys work for the Colorado Division of Wildlife. They ought to have an inside scoop on how to go about catching these fish, and they've already proven they can catch them right off the bat. We've seen them catch one. It appeared to be a short fish. What'd you catch, Brandon?
A little smallmouth.
Little baby smallie?
Yeah.
Did you catch them how you expected?
Yeah, up shallow.
Up shallow?
Yep.
What's your plans for the full night?
Try not to fall asleep.
We've heard that one already. That's kind of funny. Now you think, do you think as a biologist it helps you?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so.
You spend a lot of time handling fish, but not necessarily fishing for them, right?
Exactly, exactly.
That's good fun.
Keep chunking and winding.
Cliffy caught a 13.5 incher on the first cast, so
First cast.
I don't know if that's good or bad juju.
Mr. Coburn doing his work for the evening. He's battling. We'll see if they take this one to the well or not. What you got there, Troy? Nice work.
Barely.
Troy would like to make that one a coal fish there.
So here we are rolling up on probably one of the most dominant teams in the history of the Full Moon Open right here. Certainly the gentleman in the back of the boat, that's Ben Lind. Ben Lind's won this event 3 out of 10 times so far. He's won twice on this lake and once on Pueblo in southern Colorado. So these guys are not to be taken lightly. In the front of the boat, that's Frank Villa. Frank Villa fishes in the BASS Open Series as well at times. Very, very, very instrumental in the youth clubs in northern Colorado as well, which to me is more important than all the tournaments he could win. That guy's taught more kids to fish than just about anybody else in the world, just about. So good fishermen, and they're on a good spot. I like their spot as a guide on this lake. I like where they're starting. And it looks like we got Ben hooked up right here, so there's no shocker. Ben knows how to catch them. And doesn't look like this one's gonna help though. You gonna put that one on the board, Ben?
This is gonna go back.
You're gonna change the diaper and then let it go. That's what you're gonna do. Now both you guys are finesse fishing on the bottom, it looks like. Working kind of slow.
Yep.
Seems like everyone's doing that, so we'll see how it goes. The reaction bites don't look like they're getting a lot of work out just yet. Did you get the spinnerbait out at nighttime?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. There it is, both up with a big grin right there. That sums it up, getting the spinnerbait out at night. So we're gonna get away from their boat and let them have at it. You guys, good luck. If you get any fish, holler.
All right, we will.
What's your strategy? Kurt, you're well known as being a good night fisherman. What's do you think some of your secrets to your success at night?
You know, I think I'm lucky. I've got pretty good night vision, and I think depth perception, being able to see the bank, typically at night, and the darker it gets, and the more toward daylight that it gets, the closer you'll find the fish to the bank. And so my strategy is to try to get a couple of fish now out deeper, and I feel that the fish will probably sometime after midnight start moving up really shallow, and we'll be able to get them a little bit more in a more controlled manner, where we can either fish horizontally or vertically, dropping the baits. Right now we're fishing vertically. We're casting out and letting our baits drop down into the depths, and so far we've only had a couple of pickups, but small fish, but we have good optimism.
You're going to see guys throwing very efficiently, very accurately. They're going to be fishing very thoroughly, and they're going to be concentrating. And the reason they're concentrating so hard is because they're finesse fishing. They're fishing on the bottom. Therefore, they need to focus and they need to watch that line, or they have no clue that the fish bit their baits. Agree with that, Mr. Phillips?
I would, absolutely.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to execute 100%.
That seems to be the deal.
Prize.
Yeah, that's the deal. You cannot afford to miss fish or lose fish in this tournament, at least not big ones. Ooh, so Curtis Welch swings one in the boat, but unfortunately it's the wrong flavor. That appears to be a walleye, is it not?
It's a walleye.
Well, there you go. Oh, Chad Phillips just misses one as well. So we're starting to see some action in the boat now. One thing about fish is activity begets activity. When one fish bites something and the angler sets the hook, it stirs the rest of the fish in the area. I always use this analogy, but if you picture a pigeon at McDonald's, as soon as one pigeon grabs something and flies off with it, all the rest of the pigeons start looking for whatever he just got away with, and that's no different than fish. So if you watch here, now there you go. We've been sitting here for a few minutes. He wasn't catching any fish. He gets one good fish, and boom, just like that, he gets another one in the boat. Now that one looks like a smallmouth and looks like it might be a little bit short. Not gonna make it, huh?
Needs to grow another quarter inch.
Quarter inch, ay caramba. Well,
That's right. get rid of the little ones, and now we'll get the big ones.
There you go. So we've pulled up on another team, and once again, you've probably noticed they're not going to look at us. None of these people care to get famous. They just want to catch their fish, and they're all really concentrating. But we've got a little local flavor right here. We've actually got a proprietor on this reservoir here on Horsetooth Reservoir. The gentleman in the front of the boat is Mr. Rick Emery right here, and he's the proprietor of the Lakeshore Marina Condos here on Horsetooth Reservoir, and a guy that's no stranger to fishing here. Caught a 29-inch walleye about 2 weeks ago here on the lake. So Rick, how's it going so far this evening?
Awesome, buddy. Beautiful evening again on Horsetooth, man.
There you go. It's good times on the lake. Now, you guys are fishing a little different than some of the other guys. You're fishing more main lake on a big, deep point right here. I think it's a great call. Have you caught any fish yet?
Just a few traps.
You know, little fish seem to be the order of the evening so far. And I know that you've competed. This is really the only tournament that you generally compete in. Is that right? Or no, you started club fishing this year though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did join the club.
So what do you think of fishing in club level fishing? You like
I'm
it?
just having a ball, meeting all the guys. It's a blast.
It is, huh?
I'm learning about bass fishing. It's fun.
Yeah, well, this is a 12-hour study.
You guys got any keepers yet?
Nope. A lot of small ones, but no keepers.
Well, just remembering what it looked like before it hit the water, before all the water came up on it.
Yeah.
That's why we thought this would be an awesome spot.
Now that's a key point. Is these guys talking about looking at it when the water was up. If you're a Western angler and you fish a place like Lake Powell or any Western reservoirs, one of the great things about the fact that the water moves so much is that you get a chance to look at it. This spot is normally dry. Horsetooth Reservoir is exceptionally high right now, and this is normally dry ground where we're sitting. And so these guys studied it when it was dry, and now they're coming back here and dragging jigs on it to catch fish. It's a really good plan and something that anybody at home can do. How important is accurate casting in catching fish?
Pretty important. We did some, quite a bit of scouting here, and it seemed like the ones we caught were within 5 foot of the bank. A lot of the guys are hitting the coves, and there's a bunch of fish in there, but there's so many people in there. We tried to find some main lake spots and found a couple spots we think we can get some fish. So
I think that's an absolutely great plan, having fished this tournament and guided here for a long time. I think you're exactly right. There's a lot of people in small areas, and main lake stuff is sometimes harder to figure out. But if you figure it out, it's the deal, no doubt about that. Boom! And we get a big hook set. Oh, he's a wee little tyke, but that's okay because he got a beautiful hook set on him.
little guy.
One thing that's important for folks also to notice is catching fish, any kind of fish, is good for your confidence and it's good for your focus. And in a 12-hour derby, nah, he's gonna powder that one's hiney before he lets it go. But that's good. That's, getting bites like that, that's really key to keep you focused. How's your fishing going so far, gentlemen?
Good.
Yeah?
We have 2 in the boat. 2 in the boat.
2 in the boat. That's a good sign. And these guys, just like everybody else, watching their lines. I've noticed several teams with bright colored lines on. And that bright colored line helps the guys see their line. Watching the line, that's the whole deal. And what you see right there, that's the blue heron. That's the most natural fisherman on the whole lake. And I don't think any coincidence that the only boat we've talked to that's already got 2 keepers in it is fishing right underneath the blue heron. So there he goes. We probably spoiled his evening meal. but these guys might be onto something, because where the bait fish are, so go the smallmouth. Now we've pulled up on probably one of the most karmically correct teams in the whole Derby, and I say that because this Derby is basically the brainchild and baby of Mr. Bill Wilson here, and of course you saw Bill in the show open earlier today. Bill, how's the fishing going?
Still a little slow, but we got one in the live well, so we're happy about that.
There you go. Well, like we keep saying, the first one's the hardest, so.
First one and the last one are the two hardest.
Yeah, we got a real profound piece from a guy over here earlier, said you got to catch one before you can catch two, and I thought that was good. But now you guys seem to be doing the same thing everybody's doing, working some kind of a soft plastic slow.
Yeah, they don't want anything moving very fast right now, so we'll give them what they want.
There you go. Now you've been fishing this tournament obviously for a long time. Do you have a theory on where they go or how they move around at night?
You know, whenever the sun goes down, it slows down usually. But at some point during the night, they do bite, and whenever they're feeding up, that's when we want to be there.
Yeah. If karma counts, no one's worked harder at this tournament than you guys, and so from our standpoint, we hope you have a good, safe evening, and we'll find you first thing in the morning.
Thanks. Everybody be safe, and we'll show you some fish in the morning.
Thanks for putting it together for us. Good luck, guys.
Horsetooth representing. Hold that one up for the camera, bro. Yeah.
Little guy.
How many keepers in the boat now, boys?
3.
Nice work.
Nothing real big, but our best bite isn't going to start for probably another 45 minutes. And the pattern that we figured out last night was pretty much when it starts getting pretty dark is when those bigger fish are moving up on those boat ramps. So we're hoping nobody comes in on them. We're just kind of keeping an eye on them. If somebody comes in, then we'll immediately go to the other one. But letting them rest, everybody's starting to pull off the lake, it's stirring that water up, and then hopefully it'll replenish with better fish. That's the plan.
The classic boat launch pattern.
That's right. We were convincing guys earlier that we're putting on the ramp, putting on the trailers, we're convincing them to give it a couple really good throttle hits, you know, really stir up that water.
Does your walleye background help you at all in catching these fish?
I think the digging aspect of it, yeah. And that's primarily how we get after the walleye, so it's an easy transition to doing this for fun.
Now, how'd you pick the spot you're on?
We've been free fishing this week, and my kids call this the naked tree. And we've just been pounding walleye in front of it, and there's a lot of bass with them shallower. Yep. And I can sit out and fish deeper, catch walleye. My boy fishes shallow, catch bass. There you go.
The spot you're on right here, it's interesting you let your kids pick your spot. That goes to show you folks at home that fishing isn't always rocket science. Talking to Andy in the back of the boat. Andy, you do a lot of metro fishing. I know you do a little bit of night fishing. How important do you think your night fishing experience is to this Derby?
It's worked out pretty good. It's not the only time I get to go now is night, but yeah, it's definitely helped. You know, I find night baits, you know, dark colors, bigger profile. You know, it's definitely helped us out.
Bigger profiles, that's one we don't hear a lot, but I think that's key as well. It helps fish find your bait at night. All right, now one of the other things that's kind of interesting about club fishing and tournament fishing as opposed to just going fishing with your buddies is you know, it kind of gets you involved at a little bit different level. And I know these guys, being one's a walleye guy and one's a bass guy, at least at heart, even though they're both multi-species guys, I think if you really push it, one's a walleye guy, one's a bass guy. And they met on the internet forum site, and there's lots of them out there. There's tons of them. I edit with fishexplorer.com. There's tons of sites out there, but you know, it definitely is a great way to get involved with the sport. And boom, we got a bass guy hooked up right here. Andy's got himself hooked. What'd he get? He's gonna swing it in the boat. Oh, he got him a little walleye. Now the bass guy caught the walleye. How does that work? We've seen a lot more of those caught so far this evening than anything else, but there's a very, very typical horsetooth walleye right there. There's lots of those in the pond. Appreciate you taking a second showing us that one. He's got the full-on bass hook set. I like it. All right, now we got a bass right here, so that's a good sign. Now they're going to go for the net. So first we had the walleye guy catch, or the bass guy catch a walleye. Now we got the walleye guy to catch a bass. They're netting him. That's a good sign. We'll see. Is that one going to make it? Ooh. He looks pretty close. We'll swing over there and see what he got there now. Travis trying to protect his top 10 finish from last year with another quality fish. Now they're going to throw this fish on the board and make sure he'll make it. And we're keeping our fingers crossed.
13 and a quarter.
13 and a quarter. Hold him up and let us see him real quick before you box him. Beautiful, 13 and a quarter. That fish could be worth money right there. I love it. Thanks very much for taking a second to show him to us. So we're back on the bank. It's gotten dark, it's too dark to film. We had to put our anglers to bed out on the lake. So there's 50 teams running around on beautiful Horsetooth Reservoir. They've got 7 more hours of dark and then another couple hours of daylight to find their 5 biggest bass. Hopefully so far you've learned some things. We saw a lot of guys fishing finesse, a lot of guys really concentrating on watching their line and really concentrating on capitalizing on what's looking to be a relatively tough bite to start the tournament off. So I think that there's a lot of different strategies in play, but most guys are dragging tube jigs or dragging some kind of a jig, and it looks like it's working for them, just maybe not as fast as they'd like, which is a common theme in tournament fishing. So hopefully you've enjoyed this show. Next week, we're gonna start the show by waking up. It'll be 4:35 in the morning. We'll go find those anglers. We'll see how they're doing. We'll see what worked and what didn't work, and ultimately we'll crown the champion in the 11th annual Full Moon Open. So we appreciate you joining us. Tune in next week to see what the outcome is, who the big winner is, who wins all the money, and most importantly, who's getting high fives from all their buddies. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week. We've got 2 chase boats right here. This Ranger right here provided by Crowley Marine, and my Ranger over there. Oh, God!
That's Saturday's finest right there. And nobody appreciates it more than Mr. Coburn.